Magpies. It's your girl, the original Magpie, and I'm back with another video. So today I'm going to kind of be doing a little stoner story time. I'm about to smoke my blunt and give y'all a little high school story time. A quick disclaimer, if you're under 18, I do not support the use of marijuana, but if you're over 18, go crazy. So it was my sophomore year in high school. I was 16 and I was kind of always like the goody two shoes kid, you know, the choir kid, the athlete, all that. But, you know, I was kind of getting a little curious about everything, really. I mean, I always did what I was supposed to do. I went to school, I came home, I went to work, stuff like that. But I wasn't really experiencing what everybody around me was experiencing, which, no, that's not due to peer pressure. But I was always a little curious about weed. I used to smell our neighbors smoking all the time. Like, that smelled kind of good. But finally, one day, I called someone for some bag. It was somebody that I trusted, but I shouldn't have, because the man told me he was going to fade me. He took a good 3 hours. Mind you, this was weed for just one blunt. Finally, he gets to my house and he tells me to come outside. So I'm thinking, okay, like, I'm about to go to the car, or I'm gonna, you know, meet him somewhere, whatever. The man is standing on my porch as soon as I come outside with a gram. Now, I know that grams are supposed to cost $10, but me being me with no experience, paid a good little $25.
Perfect.
So after I get my bag, I go in the house, I go to my room, and I call my friend because I'm like, okay, I got this bag. Now what do I do with it? And she's like, you got to roll it up. So I'm like, how do I roll up? So we're on FaceTime, and she's giving me a little step-by-step on how to roll up. And at this point, I think my people are a little suspicious because, you know, it got quiet as hell downstairs. They were just trying to figure me out. So my room starts to smell like weed a little bit, and my dumbass goes downstairs, and I say to my mom and grandma, oh, it smells like weed in here.
Idiot!
Because I already knew they were suspicious. Now, I should have really just kept my mouth closed. The reason I said that, though, was our neighbors used to smoke all the time. They'd have our house smoked out and all type of shit. But I go downstairs and I tell them it smells like weed. So they just look at me and they're nodding, whatever, you know. But then I go back upstairs and I'm attempting to keep rolling up. But my dumbass takes the weed, breaks it down, and since it's in the middle of the summer, my fan's going. So I'm sitting in front of a fan trying to roll up, and when all my weed starts flying all over, guess who walks in the room? My mother. And she was none too pleased. As soon as she came in, I'm on FaceTime with my friend. And she's like, what are you doing? And I'm just embarrassed as fuck because, Mom, like, you're killing my vibe right now. But she asked me what I'm doing. And I say, oh, nothing. And I'm trying to hide the weed. Mind you, she walks up to the table and there's hella specks of weed. So I'm just like, at this point, I'm caught up. So I hang up with my friend as she's laughing hysterically. You know who you are. And as soon as I get done on the phone, my mom tells me to come downstairs. So I'm like, ooh, I already know it's one of them. So I go downstairs and they're asking me all types of questions. Like, first of all, where did you get it from? Now, I'm not going to tell you who I got it from, but just know it's my first time buying it. They weren't believing that at all. They think I've been smoking weed for years, all types of stuff. Like, when I go down there, they're like, oh, go check her room for more weed, woo, woo, woo. And we need to send her to Rosecrans.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Rosecrans for weed? I'm like, what? I'm like, this is literally my first time buying bag, I promise you. They weren't going for that. They weren't believing none of that. So to keep a long story short, they take my phone away and they ground me. But does that stop Maggie? No. And Mom, no shade thrown. I know you just wanted what was best for me, but weed is not that bad. I promise you. I promise everybody that thinks it's bad, it's not that. So anyway, I'm on punishment for a fat minute for this because, you know, I did tweak a little bit. I kind of gave myself up by announcing that, that it smelled like bag, but, you know, we live and we learn. So anyway, at that point, I'm like, fuck weed. I'm cool. I'm over it. I'm not doing this shit ever again. My best friend was the biggest stoner you'll ever meet. You think that was the truth? Hell no. So let's fast forward to a few months later, right? I didn't even get to smoke the bag that I got. Crazy as fuck. I paid $25 for a gram and I don't even get to smoke it. I forgot to mention this part. My mom she flushed the rest of it. So I'm like, why would you flush my weed down the toilet? Like, you could have sold that, you could have smoked that, you could have kept that, you could have did anything with it. But to flush it is insane. So now, fast forward to about, I want to say a month or two later, right? We had this little group at lunch that we always sat together. You know, it was always a thing. Every single day, you saw one of us, you saw one of them type shit. So anyway, one of our friends was like, have y'all ever tried edibles before? My best friend did, of course, because like I said, she was a big stoner, but I didn't. I didn't get to try anything, mind you. So long story short, he brings an edible to school, right? And I'm thinking, no big deal. Like, it's literally, I don't even know. He brought like a tin and there was like a little muffin in there. And I'm thinking like, this ain't shit. We're cool. Like, you know, we're chilling. So anyway, me and my best friend go into the girls' bathroom. You know, we take the edible with us. And she's like, if you take half, I'll take half. So I'm like, okay, bet. We both about to take half. Worst mistake I ever made, especially at school. But we gonna get into that a little bit more. But anyway, so we each take half of it, right? This is during 4th hour. I want to say this is about noon, okay? So we take it and we're just sitting there thinking it's about to be a vibe all the time. But it wasn't. For me, at least. She was cool, but for me, it wasn't. So by 5th hour, I'm in choir and I'm singing and my mouth is dry as fuck. And I'm like, why is my mouth dry? Like, I'm all types of shit, just trying to feel my tongue. Whatever was in that edible, you bogus.
I got a too high, she thinks she laced.
Nah, I'm playing, but it was like high as fuck. Like, it was OVA. So I'm sitting in choir, mouth starts to getting dry. I'm starting to like, everything's starting to sound a little muffled. I'm getting paranoid. Like, my eyes are bloodshot as fuck. It was happening. It was happening. In the worst place, mind you. I would have rather been high anywhere else. So by the time 5th hour's over, I'm just like, okay, like, let me try to woosah. But no woosah. None of that. So after we get into 6th hour, I'm just sitting there and I am fucking stuck. Like, for like 5 minutes at a time type shit stuck. So I'm just like trying to get unstuck. This is during child development. Why does this blunt keep going? It's these damn blunts. Said every person that can't roll a blunt for real. But no, I'm just playing. Hold on one second. Let me light this a little bit. Okay. Anyway, I'm sitting there stuck as fuck, right?
It's fucking frozen, bro. What the fuck?
My friends are looking at me like, you good? You not slick? All types of shit. I'm just like, for real, because I am stuck. I'm on zombie mode at this point. Anyway, so 6th hour goes by. I look suspicious as hell. Everybody's literally looking at me and just like laughing with me or trying to talk to me. And they're like, girl, do you need anything? And I'm just type shit. I'm comatose at this point. Like, it was over with. So anyway, after that happens, during 6th hour, I'm like, I cannot go to 7th hour. Because if I'm not mistaken, my 7th hour was gym. And I'm like, how the hell am I finna keep playing this off? Like, I literally just almost got caught up. Mind you, I'm not the type of kid who got in trouble. So I'm literally terrified at this point. So, long story short, after 6th hour, my friend talks to me and she's like, you need to not be seen anymore. Like, you need to go somewhere. Don't even gotta tell me twice. I promise you don't gotta tell me. So I go into the bathroom, and I'm not gonna lie, I tried to pee. I did pee. But did I get up from that pee is the question. No, I did not. I sat there for probably, I say like a good hour and a half. I just sat there stiff as fuck, stuck as fuck. At this point, I'm like, am I dying? Like, I'm horrified. I'm paranoid. I'm anxious. Like, it's all types of shit going through my head. But all I know was I wasn't operating for real that day. I wasn't going to be able to carry out my everyday tasks. So I'm just like, at this point, I'm going to sit here. I couldn't tell the school what was going on. I really couldn't tell my friend what was going on. So what do? Hello? Mom? Yes, I instantly called my mom. And yeah, I did get in trouble for it the first time, but at the end of the day, I always knew I could call my mom no matter what was going on. So I called my mom and I told her to come get me. Time goes on. I get higher and higher. At this point, I think I'm literally dying. I'm tweaking. I'm doing all types of shit. And my mom's like, you need to go to the hospital. I was in agreement. Now, do I think I should have gone off an edible, knowing what I know now? No. But did I? Yes. So we get to the hospital, and I'm just sitting there thinking like, R.I.P. Maggie type shit. Like, this shit was overly laced. Like, it's over with. No. I was fine. They told me basically at the ER, like, you really overdid it.
He needs some milk.
Like, you did too much. And what you need to do is go home and sleep this off. I went home. I was anxious as hell, panicky as hell for a good another, I don't know, probably couple hours, few hours. And then finally, I took my happy ass to sleep because I'm just like, you know, it's been a day. I done missed practice. I missed my last 2 classes. Friends on the team are calling me, trying to figure out where I'm at. I'm trying to figure out where I'm at for real. It was all bad. Why would you do that at school? I don't know. But kids do kid shit. You live and you learn. Do I enjoy a good edible now? Hell yeah. But I think there's definitely always a time and place for things. And now for my last and final escapade. So this was 4/20, I was 16, 2017, okay? So I'm still on the weed shit. I'm not gonna lie. I'm still fascinated by it. I still want to try to smoke. I still want to, you know. My friend comes up to me at lunch, you know, part of our lunch table. And she's like, oh, Morgan's having a 420 kickback or something. Or no, it wasn't Morgan that had it, but we slid because Morgan was there. It was another girl that had it. But I'm like, okay, bet. Like, I'll come or whatever. Shouldn't have tried it. 3 times was not the charm. So I slide, you know, with all my friends. We're sitting there. There's a lot of people I hadn't even seen before, so I'm meeting people, all types of stuff. And I remember we just start rolling and rolling and rolling, but I didn't know how to roll. So I'm just sitting there, you know, we're all chilling, we're all talking, but I don't know how to roll. So everybody's rolling up. I want to say they roll up about 10 blunts to start because it was a pretty decent sized kickback, but the girls I was with beforehand had rolled up like a lot of blunts to pass. So we're like, okay, bet, like it's time to smoke. So everybody starts smoking, everybody's kicking it, everybody's chilling, there's music going. I I don't even know how to hit the blunt because, mind you, the first time I tried to smoke, it was not going like that. My mom, you know, put her kibosh on my plans and it was over with. So I didn't get to smoke the first time. And the whole edible thing was a complete fiasco for real. So I'm like, all right, I'm hitting the blunt finally because someone actually shows me how to hit it. And like, I'm not even actually hitting it for real. I'm probably going like, let that right out type shit. But then I actually did get to hitting it. And when I actually did get to hitting it, I was high as fuck. Within like the first 3 hits, like my tolerance was like this. Like, it was insane. So they're all like, no, there's blunts going around. They're like, hit it, you know, so you learn how to smoke and just because it's 420 type shit. So I'm like, okay, I keep hitting it. Not a good idea. I get high as fuck. That once again, like everything's moving in slow-mo. Everything's muffled. I'm paranoid as hell. Like I'm low-key like anxious. I'm crawling out of my skin a little bit. I'm just like, what the fuck at this point? Like, why am I tweaking like this? So I'm sitting there. I'm high as hell. One of our friends come in and he's like, hey, Maggie. And I just look at him like comatose once again. And like probably 2 minutes later, it comes to me that he said, hey, and I'm like, oh, hey, woo, like I'm responding to what he said. And then motherfuckers are looking at me like he said, hey, like 2 minutes ago, girl, like, where were you? I was in La La Land, for real. But not even La La Land because I was scared as hell. So anyway, we're sitting there. One of the girl that owned the house is like, hey, do you want to lay down in my room? You can lay down because like I looked zooted. I looked out of there. So I'm like, you know, most definitely I'm gone. I go to lay down and it feels like I'm literally falling through the bed like in slow motion. I don't even know how to explain it. It was weird, but bro, not a good idea. Too much. For your first smoke session, your first actual smoke session, be for real. So we get to walking home and I don't know, bro. I felt so paranoid the whole time. Like, the shit was weird. And I'm like, at this point, I'm never touching weed again. It's OVA. Keep that shit over there. But that was the last time I smoked in high school. And it wasn't until after high school I started smoking. And like I said, I feel like there's always a time and a place. And I feel like at that point, that just wasn't something I was ready for. I feel like maybe there were other plans for me at that time. But to wrap this story time up, be safe with your marijuana usage. And have a good night. Thank you, Magpies.